Hi, and welcome to the Sunday evening service of First United Spiritualist Church. My name is Raphael, and I'll be your host for tonight. I'm very glad to welcome again Lesley Prentis, which is a Northern Reverend and regular at our Sunday services. She's a lovely speaker and medium, and she's always from the heart, and I'm always happy to share for her. We'll have her do our opening prayer if she's ready, and then just jump right in.
Raphael, I'm going to say to you what I say to everybody is, I'm never ready, but Spirit always is. So, thank you. Would you join me, please?
Sure.
Gracious and loving Spirit, thank you for the blessings that each of us receive each day. Thank you for the ability to come together and share with one another, learn from one another, and grow together. We thank you for your presence in our lives. We welcome you. We welcome those in the spirit realm, loved ones, friends, workers, teachers, healers, to gather with us and make themselves known to each of us so that we may be aware of their presence and that life itself never ends. We ask your blessings upon this earth and all who dwell thereon, and we leave ourselves in your care. Amen. Now,
Thank you, Lesley. And welcome to those of you just joined. I'm glad to see so many people from so many different places, new friends from Seattle, our regular from Vancouver. We are all a big family. I wish we had no borders, so we all be dealing with the same issues the same way, and US will be still open. So as I say, I'm glad to be with Lesley today, and I'm going to read now our seventh principle by which all the churches of spiritualism abide. At First United Spiritualist Church, we embrace 7 principles of spiritualism. Number 1, the fatherhood of God, followed by the brotherhood of man, the communion of spirits, and the ministry of angel. We believe in the continuous existence of the human soul, in personal responsibility, in compensation and retribution hereafter for all the good and evil deeds done on earth, and finally that eternal progress is open to every human soul. In addition to that, we have embraced a quote that was given to us by a spirit called Silver Birch, wonderful writings that were channeled from Silver Birch. You should check them out. And that was channeled by a British medium called Maurice Barbnell. And it's a quote that says, our allegiance is not to a creed, not to a book, but to the great spirit of life and its eternal natural laws. So with no further ado, I'll ask you to send your love and light to Lesley. She's going to do an address today, maybe a reading. Thank you.
I'm going to do a reading first. I always have books around, and I actually had something in my mind about what I was going to do today, but Spirit have other thoughts, because as I sat down here, I knew this book was here. It's called Spirit Healing by Harry Edwards. And I'd just like to read a bit from chapter 8, The Divine Purpose. An agnostic said to me, I grant that you may have some power to heal the sick, but when you do heal an individual person and take away the pain or disease, what is the purpose of it? To make one person better amid the millions who are sick is an insignificant thing. I replied that, while the healing of, say, Mrs. Brown in Bournemouth is a tremendous thing for her and her family, so that happiness replaces sorrow, it is not so important in the full scheme of things. It is the implications arising from the healing that are important. When a sufferer is deemed to be incurable and is rejected by the medical profession, any further treatment can only be a waste of time, he is told. Therefore, he has to be content with tablets from his local doctor to ease the pain. When, as frequently happens, such an incurable is cured, it should make him and all those around him acknowledge a demonstration of spirit power. It should prove to all concerned that an unearthly power and intelligence have intervened. Through the accumulation of a great mass of supporting evidence, through spiritualism, it is proved that this intelligence and power come from highly evolved individuals in spirit life. The thinking man will know that nothing in physical life can be receptive to any process or force unless there exists the ability to receive it. Some metals are good conductors of electricity, others are not. Radio and television incorporate the transfer and reception of characterized energies. The components of radio and television are arranged in such qualitative attunement that they are sensitive to the energy vibrations. So it is with the human being. There exists within him a qualitative faculty that permits him to receive healing forces transmitted by a spirit intelligence. Therefore, within his total makeup, there must be faculties that are receptive to spirit, and he must possess a spirit body that is functioning now. I'm just going to leave it there, just a short passage. I've been thinking over spiritualism because I've heard some things just recently that were put out and to me do not fit in what I characterize as spiritualism. Spiritual, absolutely, but not what I characterize as spiritualism. And I know that I am not the be-all of spiritualists. I don't speak for everyone. I speak only for myself. And a lot of my introduction to spiritualism came through family, came from my grandmother and my mother, who were spiritualist mediums, becoming so later on in life for both of them. And a good part of what I was doing was spiritual healing, or spirit healing, if you prefer. And that is a really interesting thing to be involved in. But it also makes you think about your responsibility. I cannot, as a spiritualist medium, as a medium working often as a healer, which I admit I have not done so much recently other than doing distant healing. It gives you a great satisfaction to do healing. But I also learned very early on that I am just a vehicle for the energy that comes from spirit. I don't do the healing in that I am not the source of the healing. And that healing energy is absorbed by the individuals that you work with to the extent that they, one, are in need of healing, that they're ready for healing. I cannot go to someone who has come in for healing and say, you are going to be healed of all your problems. I can't say that. It might be true, but more likely it's not. But what will often happen is that things that were bothering them are eased: pain, various kinds of discomfort. And the closer you work with spirit, the more you are able to allow the energy to flow through, and it touches someone. But if I, as a recipient of healing, really at some level within myself, even if I don't understand that, don't recognize it, if I do not want that healing, if being ill serves me a purpose, then I'm not going to be healed. Or I'm going to be healed of what was happening, but I'm not acknowledging it. And I'm not allowing it to take its full pace. Now, When you're a spiritualist, you are acknowledging that there is another world, that life continues, it exists, and that we can be in communication with those around us. And it's really important to understand that we are responsible for everything that we say, that we think, that we do. We are responsible for the information that we give others about healing, about messages, whatever it happens to be. Most of all, we have to tell people and let them know that I cannot live your life for you. I cannot be the person who turns your life around. I cannot take over your life for you and tell you what to do. And yet, many people that come for healing would like you to do that. Many people that come to a message night or to the church service come because there are messages and they're expecting, wanting a message that will tell them how to do things. What next? And the only thing that our spirit friends can do for us is open a door or a window. And if we are perceptive enough to look, to acknowledge that window, that door, we can see opportunities that are there for us. We can also see when a door is closed and not likely to open for us. And it truly is, as an individual, my responsibility to know where there is a limit, and perhaps to think about why, if there is a limit. Is it me? Is it something that is deep inside of me blocking progress or just taking another pathway? Is it me that is rejecting healing or messages? Am I not welcoming spirit? And it's really important that each of us, as we go about our way, remember that we are spirit ourselves, clothed in a physical body here on the earth plane. When we can open our heart and our mind to each and every person around us, we can acknowledge the beauty of each person, the spirit in each person. But we also are responsible for listening, learning when we can learn, acknowledging to ourselves when we are not learning from a particular person. For whatever reason, it doesn't matter. If we're not learning, that is up to us. It's not the other person. They may be trying their best to give you their knowledge or what they believe. And if it's just not right for you, then it's time for you to understand that and not allow yourself to be bullied or persuaded into changing your mind. You have to find any changes that you make within you. And that's truly important. In a story that I was told, and I was told it in a public venue, so there were a lot of us there, and there was a visiting medium from New Zealand who spoke about not getting along with people and being angry about it. And she spoke about working in a library and that her supervisor there, she didn't like her. And it seemed to be mutual, and they didn't get along. And she was responding to the behavior of the supervisor, and I'm sure the supervisor was responding to the behavior of the medium who was working as a librarian. And she was learning to be a medium. She was training to be a medium at the time, and she went to her tutor and told her this story. And the medium said to her, her tutor said to her, when you go to work every day, think of love, a beautiful ball of fluffy pink, and put it, that energy that you've got there, put it under her chair at her desk. put it maybe somewhere else where she might go and sit. And that's what she did. She took her tutor at her word, and she went and she started placing love around the rooms in where she worked. And she found over time that she didn't mind the supervisor so much, and that she was not someone who was all hard and difficult to deal with anymore. And she thought at the time that, oh, it's working, it's changing the supervisor. And what was truly happening, she realized many years later, which is before I had met her, she realized that in putting the love there, in doing this, constantly relating love to this person, that she realized that as she was doing this, she was changing. This librarian who had problems with the supervisor was changing. She was changing how she felt about the supervisor. She was changing how she felt about certain things, about being told what to do and being corrected when she did something wrong. She just suddenly didn't have that problem anymore. It sort of crept up on her, but it worked. And she and that supervisor became good friends. And when the supervisor retired, she maintained that friendship with that supervisor. I think there was healing happening there. But it's also healing about learning the things that are around us. And so here it is, someone changes. And I've had that happen in my life, where I've gone into work and been really disgruntled because they kept changing my shifts. And I'd have to suddenly work evenings. And it was all based around um, church, because I wanted to go to church so badly. I wanted to go to the services. I wanted to go to my circle on Monday night. I wanted to go to the Wednesday night meetings. I wanted to go to the healing circles and things like that. And this was really quite difficult. And I was angry and frustrated. And I know, although I did my job, I was perhaps not the most likable employee. And I finally decided that, I'm not going to get anywhere hitting my head against a wall. So I just started saying thank you. Thank you for the shifts and whatnot, and just went about it. And not too long afterwards, within a month or two, suddenly the manager came in and said, Lesley, come and talk to me. And I did. I went and talked to her. And she said, we can put you on Monday to Friday, or leave you on Monday to Friday, but we can change it so that you are off Monday and Tuesday evenings. Actually, it was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday evenings. And then I had to work Thursday and Friday evenings. And occasionally I get called in for Saturday. That's no problem. They made sure that I could get to the things that were really important to me. I could get to the services. I could get to circle. I could get to thing. And what happened was I'd stop battering against and arguing about what was happening. And as I did that, they saw change in me. But what it also did was change them. I didn't think about that. That wasn't something that I saw, but I did it. And it was healing for me, and I'm sure it was healing for them. Now, healing is super important in spiritualism. We do it all the time. Right now, it's happening pretty continually for a lot of us. We're doing a lot of sending out messages to Spirit, asking for healing for this person or that person. There's been some emergency groups put together for a one-time healing, or maybe get together for healing for someone a few times. Maybe set up a time and you all work on it at the same time. Those things are really important. They take more importance to me than doing a service, sitting in a circle. Unfortunately, right now, we're not doing in-person healing. But as I said, I've not been doing a lot of healing in the last while. And that's just a number of circumstances which have come together. And so I ended up not doing healing. And this is before we closed our church down. But we went online and we met the needs of some people. We couldn't meet the needs of everyone. We could not go out and be with people because of the social distancing, because of the possibility of spreading a virus that most people, I think, don't know that they have. And so if we've had it, who knows? Not everyone gets tested. They don't feel the need to test everybody, but they certainly do get to you if there's a problem. So what can I do? I can reach out, put out healing. I can just be me. I don't have to be anybody special. I know that each and every person is a healer in their own right. They're a medium in their own right. We are all connected in some way with spirit, and we work with it, whether it's listening to someone's story, whether it's giving someone $1 or $2 on the street, whether it's sitting daily or once or twice a week to send out distant healing, or what they call absent healing as well. We pick up a phone and call somebody and talk to them for, who knows, could be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, could be 2 hours. And we're giving service. And it's not something we actually usually think about that way. Although I know that my life is based a lot around service, but it's not. I don't do things because I want to serve. I do them because I feel the need to do it. And I don't know, I can't answer for why people come in. But to me, mediumship is really simple. You have your different aspects of it. You have healing, which to me is the highest form of mediumship. It can take several different ways of doing it, but it is there. And I know that as we are doing this, that we should be aware of all of the things that we can do to help other people and to help ourselves. Remember, spirit cannot do anything for you in the physical sense. You have to do it. They can bring through the energy through someone who's willing to work with them and perhaps give a message, send a distant healing. If you're able to be in contact with someone, give them healing that way. Tell them a story. There's all sorts of things. Do a lecture. Do your mediumship in the church. And there are many, many kinds of mediumship. They're not all the same. And usually in a spiritualist church, in most of them, you get someone on a Sunday or whatever night the service is, because not all services are on Sundays. You get a speaker who often talks too long, like me, and you get people, maybe the speaker who are doing mediumship, who are doing messages as well. And that's important. The message is important. A lot of people come for them. And I like to think that most of the message that we do at a church service or at a demonstration of mediumship are going to be where we link with spirit and do what we're supposed to do. One of the purposes of spiritualism is to prove that life continues. And that's what's important to me. And I know that it is the underlying mechanism of spiritualism that life continues. And we learn and we grow to understand that. A lot of people who come aren't looking to hear a talk. They're saying, oh, shut up, finish your talk. Get to the messages, because that's what they're looking for. Again, someone wants to have some kind of guidance in their life, or they've lost, and they haven't lost them. I shouldn't use that word. A friend, a loved one has passed over. An animal has passed over. Um, they're looking for solace. And that's important that we try and give that. And there's lots of literature out there for all of us to read. And I'm going back and reading some of these books that I haven't read for many years. And some of them I've never read the whole book. But going through some boxes that we're pulling out of storage, I came across this one. And it was published first in 1960. And it's an important, simply written book about Harry Edwards' view of spirit healing. And I think that's really important, that we learn to understand what we believe and how did we get there. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Lesley. So the book you're talking about is the extract that you read earlier, right? Okay, can't hear you, but I can see it. Spirit Healing, Harry Edwards. Thank you. And yeah, for those who are interested, I'm certainly gonna have a look at this author. Here for the announcement now. Next Tuesday we have our healing service with Manilai, followed by the development circle. Don't remember who's doing it. Sorry, I'm gonna check later on. And then next Sunday in the morning, we have Parnit VOD doing the morning service. And during the evening, we have Mette Joy Drager and Margaret Koja. So let's make sure to tune in next Sunday for beautiful services. Now, we would have had a song, but we don't have songs, so we'll ask Lesley if she's ready to guide us into a meditation. And please take your time. I don't want you to jump from A to B too fast. And also, I can't hear you, so maybe I'll unmute you for you.
Yes, let me do that again. There I am. There I am. Yes, I'm ready. Although, Raphael, if you'd like to sing a song for us, that would be fine.
Okay, in French then, Frère Jack.
We could probably all
next
sing
time,
with you.
maybe.
I'm so bad sometimes. Okay, I'm going to ask you, please, to make yourselves comfortable. If you are lying down, fine. Just make yourself more comfortable. If you're sitting, put your feet on the floor and sit up straight. Always do things when you're doing them to be comfortable. It's important, because if you are comfortable, then you can relax and listen. And we're going to do a short meditation. Short in that it's probably going to be about 10 minutes long, maybe a bit longer, but not much. I'd like you to just sit and relax. And I'd like you to focus on your breath as you breathe in and out. I'd like you to breathe in. Notice when you breathe in and then you breathe out, that each time you come to the end of the in-breath or the end of the out-breath, there is a pause. There is a pause. There's that short moment in between. And so I'd like you to breathe in and out. You don't have to take deep breaths, but if you want to, you can. Just 2 or 3, and then normal breathing. And breathe in and breathe out. And as you're breathing in and breathing out and paying attention to that pause that is there, a light begins to glow within you. And it resonates with those pauses. And as you continue to breathe, you'll find that light gets brighter each time that you breathe in. And each time that you breathe out, it gets larger. And just continue breathing in, brighter light. Breathing out, it expands more. And you can feel that energy expanding through your body, filling it, going through the total of your body from your head down to your feet, taking in all parts of your body, and that energy goes down into the earth. And as you're breathing out, that energy, as you breathe in, it comes back up through the body and exits through the top of your head. It will find its natural place and its natural flow. And as we are in that space, allow yourself to just sit or lie down and be comfortable. Continuing to breathe. And as you continue to breathe, that energy moves beyond your body, moves beyond the room that you were sitting in, moves out into the community. It will cross the streets, fill the buildings, go down into the soil and up into the air, and it will continue to move across the landscape. It'll move across the valleys, the plains, the mountains, the lakes, and the rivers. It'll cross the continent. It'll touch the ocean and cross the oceans. That energy is limitless. It comes from spirit. It comes from the source and moves out everywhere. And as you are aware that this energy is moving, just know that it encircles the globe and it moves out into the atmosphere and deep within the soil. It will also move out beyond our atmosphere, into the solar system and beyond, touching wherever it goes. Important, life-giving, healing. And back in that light that is within you that is so bright, I'd like you to focus. And there appears there a gate or a doorway, which will allow you to enter into a garden. And this is your garden. So it's filled with the flowers that you like, the trees. There are animals in the garden. Creatures, whether they be the insect life, the worms, birds, all of the life that can be in your garden, perhaps a fox running by, a rabbit, perhaps a horse standing in a field. And just know that as you enter that garden and you walk, following the pathway in front of you, wherever it leads, you will end up in a place where there is a fountain. And that fountain has places to sit around it. Sit down, be comfortable there, and watch the fountain. Watch the water as it rises up to its peak and then flows down back into the pond. And as it does that, there are colors that begin to flow upwards and then down back into the pond. And as you are sitting there, and as these colors go up and out and down the fountain on the outside, think of your loved ones and friends who are in need. It doesn't matter what their need is. It is important that you care and that you offer them your love and light. And the colors begin to separate from the water and move out across the earth. Each color taking with it healing that will touch for certain conditions. And we are sending healing to loved ones and friends, to strangers who are beyond your knowing even. They're out there in the world. That energy is going out in combination with all of those present to touch people and animals, plants, the soil and all of its inhabitants, the oceans and all of their inhabitants, the air and those that fly through the air, be they insect or birds. The colors wrap around the trees and extend further. And as you sit there by that fountain, allow yourself to be aware if someone has come to join you. And I know there are many who have gathered at that fountain. And you may want to talk to them a bit if you are aware of them. If not, just sit quietly and relax and accept the healing that is meant for you. It's always your choice to accept the healing or to put it aside for now. And you can continue to put names of those you know who are in need of healing or whom you've heard about into the pool at the base of the fountain. And again, it will be picked up and the energy will go up and out to those who are listed, whose names have been put forward. And I'd like you just to relax now, if you haven't already. And I'm going to leave you there for just a few minutes to feel the love, to understand that you are never alone. I will call you back.
Thank you, Lesley, for this beautiful meditation.
Thank you, Raphael. And I'm going to ask you all to come back now from wherever you have gone. And as you do so, the energy draws back towards you very gently. And as you breathe in and out, focus on that breath, that space in between. Breathing in and out. That energy stays where it has gone. The impact of it has been made. But always, the healing is not in your hands. The healing is the hands of Spirit, the Great Spirit, the Divine Light. Gracious and loving Spirit, thank you for the healing that is given, for the blessings that have come. And may it continue to touch each and every one. Amen.
Sorry. Again, thank you for your beautiful meditation. I don't know if anybody wants to share what they felt. I think now it's the time to do it. Everybody's shy.
Charlie.
Charlie's.
Lesley will understand this. Partway through your address, Will Ford came to me. And then we were in the garden in the meditation.
I understand that, yes. Thank you. Thank him. Thank you, Charlie. Okay, next, mediumship?
Yes. You don't need me.
Well, no, I sort of relegated you tonight, haven't I? Okay. However, you are
less
always
work for me.
It is
less work for me.
You are always an important part of the service.
Yeah.
Okay. I like to go directly in because there's so few. I can do that, but I do have during the address. I had a horse come in, and the horse just came up and beside me and head on my shoulder, and it's a sorrel, an older horse, not a young one, an older horse, and one who was she's showing me I would have put him about in his 20s. Okay, and he was well cared for the majority of the time, is what I'm getting, and it was a male horse. And as he's coming, I just know that for me, animals have souls, and this soul is coming and indicating that he has a great love for the person who was with him. And he said he didn't spend all of his life with that one person, and yet they made an impact on him that gave him the will to continue on past when it was thought that he would be going. Does anybody understand that horse? Rasilia? Come on in. Do you understand that horse? You do, okay. The horse is just here, but along with the horse, there's a gentleman coming in. and I want to go to like a grandfather with this man on father's side of the family. And I know that as he is here, this man is here, he's got his hand, and he wasn't all that tall, this man, because he didn't really come up much past the shoulders of this horse. So he was a shorter man. But I know that he's there, and he's reaching up, and he's having problems. This man is having problems reaching because he's got arthritis in his body. And it's in the shoulders and in the arms, but he's reaching up and putting his hand on the withers of this horse. And it was hard for him to do that. But he loved this horse dearly. Okay. And he's saying, the gentleman is saying, I taught respect for the animals. I taught respect for people. And he is a gentleman who is, I don't know how to, if I was going to say, I almost calculated it into hands high, but almost, a bit taller than the withers of the horse, but he had trouble lifting up his arm to put on there. I know that as he's a gentleman, had a little bit of a pot belly. His hair was salt and pepper as I'm seeing him. That's how he's showing himself to me. He didn't go really gray until he was older. Do you understand him, the man?
Well, during the meditation, I had a horse, some of the horses that I had come to me, so that's why I was pretty emotional when you were doing the meditation. So I don't know if somebody else resonates with that. The man doesn't really resonate, but the horse did.
Okay. I have to put him with the horse. Okay. Okay. Okay, thank you. He's not telling me who he is, but it feels like a grandfather. He's got a grandfather's love. Okay. Now, I have to put it that way to you. Okay. I can't change that. But he's not telling me he's your grandfather, just that I feel like he's a grandfather. And he's talking about teaching respect. And he's telling me that you have done this, that you teach respect to those around you. If you want respect, you have to give respect. Does that make sense to you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I know that I can't send this man away. Maybe somebody else can understand him, but we'll go back on that in a while, because he's really engaged with horses. Okay. Thank you. He's talking about you being emotional about your horses. You just said you were emotional about the horses that have come to you that are in spirit. And he's saying you don't have the ability to connect with horses the way you used to. Not in terms of your love, but just in the physical aspects of it. It's more difficult right now, is what he's saying to you. And he's saying that as you, he says, there would be nothing more that you would like to do than be with the horses all the time. Okay, is what he's telling me. And he's saying practical matters mean you have to actually earn a living. Okay, but he's talking about you making a living around the horses. Okay, thank you. He's also talking, this man was around your life. I just have to say that. I know that. A little bit stocky, this man. A little bit on the lame side. He's so gentle, this man. And he's gentle with the horse. Okay. I know that this horse like to come up on the left side and put his head down on somebody when he did that. I don't know whether you can recognize that. I just want to say that there's so much love around him. And I'm making the choice not to deal with the man. Okay, because you don't understand him right away, and I know we've got limited time here. So I do know he's there. I know he is talking about respect. And I know that you have had to school somebody. He's telling me you had to school somebody on respect recently. Okay. Do you understand that?
A human?
A human. Yeah. A human. Not an animal. He says animals respect. Animals respect. They may not respect your space, but they respect. Unless they've been mistreated, he said they have great respect for life around them. Okay. Whoever he is, that's where the fox came from in the meditation. I remember that. There was a fox there, and the fox was around him. Okay. So I don't know who he is. I'm going to leave him. We'll see if somebody else gets him, whether I've merged things here, which is possible. But I do know that the horse is there, and the horse has, I know that there were some years the horse wasn't well treated. But after that, the horse was very well treated and loved. And the horse responded to that, because I'm being told the horse had some disrespectful behavior when he first came into your life. And it was love that brought him around. Okay. And he liked green stuff rather than orange stuff, is what he's saying. Rather than carrots, he liked other things that were more green. But he'd eat a carrot if that's all you had. And I know that he had the softest muzzle and the soft touch. And he could take a little piece of whatever off of your hand with just the lips, just the end of his muzzle just touching, but no teeth. Okay. I just have to leave it like that.
Thank you very much, Lesley.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Carol Ann. Oh, sorry, Carol Ann. Interesting. I don't know why I'm calling you Carol Faye. I don't know why I'm wanting to call you Carol Ann, but I am. Come on in, please. Thank you. Oh, sorry. Just one moment. Does anybody else recognize that man? No. Okay. Fair enough.
The only
Carol,
thing I want to say is he might have been my great-grandfather.
oh,
I think
okay.
that may be who you're talking about.
Maybe you can check that out
Yeah.
and see. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Carol Faye, I was attracted to you right away to talk to you. And I know that as I'm sitting here, I've got a gentleman who's building beside me, and he stands on the right-hand side. I want to go to father's side of the family with this man. This is not father. And I don't know that it's grandfather. There's a lot of love here, and yet the closeness is not there. Okay. I know that as this gentleman is here, he is someone who worked very hard with his hands, and his hands had damage from his work over the years. Okay. And I know that he had bad arthritis in the knuckles. Okay. I know that he was in his late 60s when he passed into spirit. I know that he went through, I'm going to say it because that's what I'm getting is that there was an accident, but the accident shifted and he ended up with, there was an accident which started off a heart problem. The heart problem was already there, but it kicked it into action, and that he deteriorated quickly after the accident. Does that make any sense to you?
Bits and pieces of it do. I don't know much about my father's family. They were much older, but
Okay.
yeah, I can take most of it.
Okay. Sorry, I don't know if there's any way you can find out things about the family, but this gentleman wants to say to you, patience. And he's telling me there's some English background there too, with this, in this family.
Yes.
And the way I know that is because he's saying he's repeating what his wife used to say to him: patience is a virtue, possess it if you can, seldom in a woman and never in a man. And he's saying, to me, that's a very English expression. And that I heard it from my grandmother and my mother, both who were born in England. I know that as this gentleman is here, he is saying to you, you must have patience, because the things that you want to do, you want them right now. And he's saying to me that it's not going to happen right now because you're not ready. Okay. And he's saying you want to make it happen. And that's good, except he says there's some learning you have to do first. Okay. It's not my business what the learning is. He's just saying to you, there are things that you have to learn. They've been on your list of things, your to-do list, for a long time. And you haven't done them because it's never been the right time. And what he's saying to me is it will never be the right time unless you make it happen. Okay. Does that make sense?
Well, the patient part is I'm to be a patient. I'm waiting for a hip replacement, a knee fixing job, and shoulder surgery.
Oh my
And
goodness.
I'm putting it off. So I have a list of things to do. I'm also staying with a friend that had a stroke, which is a whole nother ball of wax. So the patience is me being a patient
Okay.
and putting things off. Yes, it makes
Okay.
sense.
That makes sense. Okay. But there's also something else in terms of education wise that's being put off too. Okay.
It's being put off because I'm in
Of all the other
excruciating
things.
pain.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And thank you. So we need to add you to our healing lists.
Thank you.
If we may.
Please, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. And I know as he's here, this gentleman is talking about having listened to you talk about healing to your friend. And
Okay.
your friend is not always so receptive about it. Okay. And he says you are a very respectful person because you are not charging ahead, forcing them to accept it. You offer, and sometimes it's accepted and sometimes it's not. Okay. And that's to do with healing. And he's telling me that that's one of the places, although you know healing works, he's telling me sometimes you doubt your ability to do healing, even distant healing. He says the way you're feeling. Okay.
It's put a damper on many things.
Okay. He's saying, and I'm going to say to you, don't let it put a damper on it, because one of the things for me that happens is if I'm doing healing, the healing goes through, no question. But I'm also receiving healing myself in doing it.
Yes.
Okay. And so really he's just saying patience, take care, and you don't have to wait to do the things on your to-do list. You can start them anyway. He knows
Can I ask you one question?
Absolutely.
Have I visited his grave site? Could you ask him if
I'm getting no.
Okay.
I'm getting a no.
Thank you. That
Okay.
narrows it down. Thank you.
Oh, okay. But somebody has put flowers on his gravesite.
Okay.
And he's telling me it's a woman that put it, but it was not you. Definitely not. He says he liked roses. He liked roses. He liked the old climbing roses so they go up a fence or up a wall, and that's what I'm seeing with him and they're a dusky pink rose.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
And I'll just leave it like that, if I may.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Have I got time for one more, Raphael?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay. I'd like to come to Dave, but I'd actually like to come to the lady that's there.
Hello, Lesley. It's Marilyn.
Oh, hi, Marilyn. Okay, I didn't know who it was. You're very small in the picture for me. Okay. I know that as I have a father figure here. I
Okay.
want to say father. I want to say that this is a man who rushed about life trying to do everything that he could and get it done. And that sometimes he was tripping over his own feet to get where he was going.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, that makes sense?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you. I know that as I'm feeling him, that he was a man with a great deal of love within him, but he had difficulty expressing it.
Yes.
And I know that he is here. He's telling me he was a goodly size, is what he's saying. He's not describing. He just said a goodly size.
Yeah.
Is how
5'10". Yeah.
Yeah, he's not telling me what he is. He's just saying, okay, he was a goodly size. And I know that as he's here, he is someone who spoke well.
Yes.
I know that he also liked to read. And I know that, but he liked to read without interruption. And so he tended to read where people couldn't get in, either behind a locked door or outside when it was too cold for other people to go out and bother him. Okay. But I also know that he didn't read until he got all of his work done. I know he was quite a handyman, but he's laughing because he says, I was told I wasn't quite the handyman that I thought I was. Okay.
He was a very handy man.
Okay. Well, I guess he had a really big impression of himself as a handyman, and okay, he's clarifying. He's saying, I didn't always do the things that other people wanted done. I did the things that I thought should be done.
Yes.
So often things didn't get fixed in a timely manner because he didn't see the importance of it. He always dealt with things that had issues about safety or things that helped people do other things. And what he's saying, okay, thank you. He wants to give you a red rose.
Thank you.
And it's one of the large red, long stemmed roses.
Yes.
And he's telling me that has a meaning for you. Okay. But he's also saying to me that you are so frustrated right now that you cannot get the things done that you want to do. And I have, he's saying the time will come soon when you are able to do the things that you want to do. Okay. And he's also talking about aches and pains, your aches and pains, not his.
Okay.
Although he had lots of them, he says you've got aches and pains, and part of it is being not able to go out and do the things you'd like to do.
Yes.
And he says there's a lot of frustration within you and a lot of he's saying a small amount of anger with it. And he says you don't respond well to either of those things, and that it is part of what the pain is that you're feeling, because the pain level has seemed to escalate over the time of the social distancing and the stay at home kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. He loves you very much, is what he's saying. He says, I wasn't always able to say that, but I did love you. I still love you. He's correcting me for being wrong and expressing that. He's somebody who would correct people
Always.
when they said something that was wrong, incorrectly said. And I know he was very, very strong and passionate about language being spoken well.
Yes.
Okay.
We spoke English very well at home.
And he didn't like the slang. He did not like people making a lot of shortcuts. He tended to speak without contractions.
Oh, yes.
Okay. And he's saying he's happy that you still don't speak with a lot of contractions.
I have a hard time using them.
So, you know, I just want to give you his love and say that he's around you. And there's a shadow on the wall where there shouldn't be a shadow. And it's him trying to show himself to you.
Okay.
Okay. There's another chair across somewhere there, just out of sight. And there's a wall behind it. And he tries to show himself there.
Okay.
So maybe you can pay attention to it.
All right. Just
Okay, can I leave that with you, please, and thank you?
Yes, has he been in contact with my sister who passed recently?
I can't tell you that because he's gone already.
Okay.
It's like
Thank you very much.
he says what he wants to say and then he leaves.
All right.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry about that.
That's all right. Thank you very
Okay.
much, Lesley.
Thank you.
That's
Bye-bye.
it.
I'm done.
Thank you, Lesley. That was wonderful. So this concludes our service for tonight. I'll do the closing prayer if you all want to join me. Oh, beloved God, infinite source, we thank you tonight. We thank Lesley, who has done a wonderful job being of service. We would like to send our love to all our loved ones, all the community. May you bless the reopening of the church, if this is in the cards in the near future. May you protect this place and all who come, provide love, wisdom, healing. May we continue to do so for the years to come, meeting the challenge with light, providing healing when needed. Bless us in those times of trial. Inspire those who need to play a role in this plan, your plan, so that they might be strengthened, that we might be united. Bless us in the week ahead. We love you dearly. We thank you, God. Amen. All right, so have a good week, everybody, and happy public holiday tomorrow if you're in Canada. I don't know if there's one in the US, but yeah, love to all. Bye-bye.